The Memetic Influence. Why New Religions Become Popular. Dr. Andrea Diem, Professor of Philosophy. Introduction. Meme theory and its applicability to the growth of new religions. The popular usage of the term meme dates back to Richard Dawkins' 1976 book, The Selfish Gene, where he defines meme, derived from the Greek word mimeme, as a unit of imitation. Dawkins 2006, 192. He goes on to suggest that memes are similar to genes in that they are replicators which must have sufficient longevity, fecundity, and copying fidelity. Dawkins 2006, 194. Arguably, it is copying fidelity that is central to the continual propagation and success of any specific meme. The thesis behind memetics is a surprisingly simple one, even if still mired in controversy. For any idea to be successful in being passed on beyond one person, it must be robust in making copies of itself to a new proprietor, who in turn has the capacity, if not the overt willingness, to communicate the same to others. Interestingly, the particular meme or entity doesn't have to be true or evidential to be successful in replicating itself. It only has to be good at being easily transmissible and fortuitous, in spreading itself to a number of other replicators who will advance the meme forward. Although Dawkins's condensed spelling of the term meme, shaving off me, is new, the concept itself has a varied pedigree throughout history. For example, Thomas Henry Huxley prefigures the notion when he argues that the struggle for existence holds as much in the intellectual as in the physical world. A theory is a species of thinking, and its right to exist is coextensive with its power of resisting extinction by its rivals. Huxley, 1880. A similar use of the word can also be found in the Nobel Prize winner in literature, 1911, Maurice Maeterlinck's book, The Life of the White Ant, where he approvingly quotes Richard C. Mohn's sweeping generalization on memory, and then proceeds to add his own commentary, en grammata upon the individual neme, comprising also their ekphories. Nearly all the experts admit, being scarcely able to do otherwise, that most instincts owe their origin to a reasoned and conscious action. For these millions of years, the same insect has gone on living, with the result that not a single one of its experiences has been lost. There has been no interruption of its existence or disappearance of its memories. An individual memory has remained, and this has never ceased to function or to centralize every acquisition of the collective soul. Maeterlinck, 1927, 216. Arthur Koestler, in a summing up, provides his own acerbic understanding of memes when he writes, "Man's deadliest weapon is language. He is susceptible to being hypnotized by slogans as he is to infectious diseases. And when there is an epidemic, the group mind takes over." Kessler, 1978, 15. 15 years after first coining his usage of the word meme, Richard Dawkins compared religion as akin to a computer virus that often infects its hosts unknowingly. Dawkins, 1991. Meme theory became exceedingly popular and ubiquitous with the advent of the Internet and the World Wide Web, where it became so widespread that it soon devolved into a cliché and one often misunderstood and misapplied, at least according to Dawkins' definition of the same. Susan Blackmore devoted an entire book, The Meme Machine, Blackmore, 1999, to memes and attempted to provide a solid scientific framework by which Dawkins' original concept could be rigorously tested and verified. She further defined and cataloged a series of memes as a memeplex. Explains Blackmore, "Memes are habits, skills, songs, stories, or any other kind of information that is copied from person to person. Memes, like genes, are replicators. That is, they are information that is copied with variation and selection. Because only some of the variants survive, memes, and hence human cultures, evolve. Memes are copied by imitation, teaching, and other methods, and they compete for space in our memories and for the chance to be copied again. Large groups of memes that are copied and passed on together are called co-adapted meme complexes, or memeplexes." Blackmore, 2003. Despite the widespread use of memetics across a variety of disciplines, the term itself has been severely criticized by a number of scholars, For example, Brybieska 2002-29-1, who suggests that unlike its biological gene counterpart, whose basis was revolutionized by the discovery of the double helical structure of DNA, memes lack an underlying marker code with which to properly understand how and why it propagates as it does. While these other objections to meme theory have some validity, what is too often overlooked is that even in the life sciences, the gene itself is an ever-evolving concept. It would be a mistake to prematurely reify it as something permanently stable. Nevertheless, as an intellectual tool to study the constituent parts of organic matter, it has become invaluable in eliciting deeper insights on how cells function. Likewise, memes have become a very useful tool with which to study how and why some ideas, many of which lack any semblance to reality, became widespread, whereas others that do contain truthful insights do not. In an essay entitled Viruses of the Mind, Richard Dawkins analogized that certain religious creeds and practices can be likened to parasitical computer code that can spread its malware by cloaking its nefarious purposes under the guise of being something benign and/or beneficial. Dawkins, 1991. Because of this, the unwary recipient may then readily pass on the viral algorithm to others in his or her network. Questionable religious memes, suggests Dawkins, work similar to such computer viruses. As he elaborates, think about the two qualities that a virus, or any sort of parasitic replicator, demands of a friendly medium. The two qualities that make cellular machinery so friendly towards parasitic DNA, and that make computers so friendly towards computer viruses. These qualities are, firstly, a readiness to replicate information accurately, perhaps with some mistakes that are subsequently reproduced accurately, and secondly, a readiness to obey instructions encoded in the information so replicated. Dawkins, 1991, 6-7. To illustrate his point further, Dawkins writes, "Progressive evolution of more effective mind parasites will have two aspects. New mutants, either random or designed by humans, that are better at spreading will become more numerous, and there will be a ganging up of ideas that flourish in one another's presence, ideas that mutually support one another just as genes do, and as I have speculated computer viruses may one day do. We expect that replicators will go around together from brain to brain in mutually compatible gangs. These gangs will come to constitute a package, which may be sufficiently stable to deserve a collective name such as Roman Catholicism or Voodoo. What matters is that minds are friendly environments to parasitic, self-replicating ideas or information, and that minds are typically massively infected." Dawkins, 1991, 8. Though it is certainly true that Richard Dawkins and others of his ilk, such as Daniel Dennett, Sam Harris, and the late Christopher Hitchens, the four horsemen of new atheism, is hypercritical of dogmatic religion, it doesn't then follow that memetic theory and the idea of informational viruses should be discarded simply because we disagree with his strident skepticism. Dawkins, Dennett, Harris, and Hitchens, 2019. Simply put, meme theory is a tool, and as such should be utilized with caution and care when trying to understand why some religions prosper as they do. In my Introduction to World Religions courses at Mount San Antonio College, I provide an illustrative example of how meme theory can help explain why some religions are more popular than others, regardless of the truth or falsity of their respective ideologies. For example, the most popular religion in the world today is Christianity, which dates back 2 millenniums and has more than 2.38 billion adherents. Islam, which postdates the death of Jesus Christ by roughly 6 centuries, has 1.91 billion followers and is expected within 4 decades to overcome Christianity in terms of total numbers. These two religions, however, don't exist without Judaism, which predates both of them by hundreds of years. Yet Judaism only has 14.6 million believers. World Population Review 2022. Why such a massive discrepancy, especially given how fundamental Judaism's prophets, practices, and beliefs are to Christianity and Islam? To be sure, there are many answers, but the most obvious and glaring one is that Judaism doesn't proselytize for new converts in any way comparable to the way Christians are encouraged to spread the teachings of Jesus around the known world, or how Islam became a powerful political and religious force through military conquest, trade, pilgrimage, and missionaries. Khan Academy 2022. Memetic theory is operable here since any religion that tends to resist vigorous methods of spreading its ideas to outsiders and across borders will, because of these constraints, be limited in comparison to others that adopt more aggressive means of preaching. In India, Jainism is another illustrative example of a religion that, unlike Buddhism or other forms of Hinduism, doesn't advocate seeking out new recruits. Thus, even though memetic theory lacks a coherent scripted code underlying its varied transmissions, it still serves as a highly functional way to trace specific informational traits and how they are exploited to the advantage of one religion versus another in a competitive space where ideas are plentiful but host environments are scarce. Yet, memes are never propagated without a conducive and changing context. They are historically contingent and, as such, are largely dependent upon the communication and technological tools available in a given society. This is why German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche's ideas are seminal, since what he understood better than most was that belief systems can undergo radical transformations depending on the type of information available to any one population. His ideas were later echoed by the media critic Marshall McLuhan, 1964, who famously argued that the medium is the message. In McLuhan's view, the pipeline that facilitates memetic transmission is elemental and cannot be ad hoc divorced from the content that emerges through it. In this book, we plan to utilize Nietzsche's penetrating insights and apply 5 memetic concepts that help explain how new religious movements grow and prosper amidst a sea of competition. Susan Blackmore has done extensive work on memetics and has coined some of the more significant memes and how they apply to religion. In particular, factors determining popularity appear to revolve around 3 fundamental principles. 1. Value-related incentives. 2. Memetic simplicity. And 3. Memetic distribution. However, there are others as well. In this work, we are focusing on piggyback memes, Trojan horse memes, memetic distribution, memetic simplicity, and memetic incentives. 5 new religious movements are used to illustrate these incentives and demonstrate how memetic ideas propagate. The Self-Realization Fellowship, SRF, founded by Paramahansa Yogananda. Movement of Spiritual Inner Awareness, MSIA, founded by John Roger Hinkins. God's Direct Contact Kuan Yin, founded by Ching Hai. International Society for Krishna Consciousness, ISKCON, founded by Swami Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada. And the Calvary Chapel Church, founded by Chuck Smith. To accomplish this aim, each new religion's history and beliefs will be detailed with a special focus on its one or more distinctive memetic cultural features. What we will find is how differing spiritual ideas promulgate depending on how they are presented and in what context. Memes, like beliefs, are not of one kind, and thus it is important to track how and why particular religions flourish and others are less successful in gathering new recruits. Meme theory is a sensible tool to better understand this phenomenon.